Hey guys, I just wanted to pop in the beginning of the video and give you all like a little trigger warning, I guess. If like you're sensitive to things like death, like maybe this build and video might not be for you. It's a cemetery and there's a backstory that I created, and so if you're sensitive to death, maybe don't watch this. Also, if you're religious, maybe don't watch this because everything about this video is a huge no-no. Okay, so with that said, let's get into it. Hello everybody, and welcome to a brand new Sims 4 speed build. Today I am making a cemetery, but not just any cemetery, you see, because of course, the cemetery's boring. We gotta spice it up. It's 2024, you know? So this is a cemetery with an apartment complex underneath. Yeah, we're doing that. This actually ended up being a lot bigger than I initially anticipated. The struggle was very real, very real. I knew doing something like in the basement, like apartments in the basement, would be tight. I didn't expect to actually feel claustrophobic while doing it. I was actually sweating while I was down in the basement, like furnishing the apartments and stuff. Yeah, it was rough. I did a bunch of terrain paint, which I guess it came out okay. I'm not really great with the terrain paint, but I also tried something new with using a lot of rocks and stuff. Like I did a lot of landscaping as if I were playing like Planet Zoo or something. But yeah, all in all, I think it came out I think it's really cool, actually. The fountain in the middle, I thought came out really cool. There's a lot of me like messing with stuff, a lot of searching for things because I was struggling, and I don't know why. Like for one, I couldn't find the tombstones at first that I wanted. I put everything in that search bar and nothing was bringing up like what I thought it should be bringing up. But then I was also wondering, did I just like imagine these tombstones? Are they not actually in the game? Were they CC I used at one point? I don't know anymore. So I did the best that I could. I wanted to build a mausoleum type thing, and I couldn't get it to look the way I really wanted it to look. We need more rundown wallpapers and things like that. Definitely like more rundown roof tiles, because what we have is it's not cutting it, sis. But yeah, so as I said, there's an apartment complex underneath the graveyard, and there's 3 apartments. I made one for a vampire, one for a werewolf, and one for a spellcaster. Each of them have like the spooky lot trait thing, and the spellcasters also have like a cat hangout, so there's always going to be cats. The werewolves have dog hangout, so there will always be dogs, so that should provide some like entertainment. And the vampires have whatever the vampire one is, like where a bunch of vampires will be there. What is like a group of vampires called? Like a pack of werewolves, obviously, a coven of witches, like a gaggle of vampires. I don't know. If you know what a group of vampires is called, let me know in the comments. But yeah, searching around through debug for Sora. Hello, I can't play with you right now. I'm recording. I'm sorry, sister. I'm sorry. Take your toy. Here, I'll throw it once, but then I gotta go back. She didn't even go in for it because she just wants my attention. Yes, as I was saying, searching through debug is a pain in the ass. I even have like the organized debug mod, and that's super helpful. Don't get me wrong. There's just so much to like search through. But there's a lot of debug here. I knew that we had like rundown temple pieces. I could not remember what pack they were from. The ones I thought it might be from, they weren't. So that was a struggle trying to find them. Sora Jean. Hi. I can't right now. I'm sorry. Don't look at me like that. Don't be mad. I just need like 5 minutes and then I can play with you, okay? Okay. Thank you. Good girl. So yeah, I was wanting to find these rundown temple pieces, and that took a hot minute to find them. Just a lot of searching. Debug, it's crazy, but it's so helpful, and like you can really flesh out your builds using debug. So if you don't use debug, maybe give it a little try. It's a little frustrating at first because as you can see, I'm struggling. I keep thinking these cute little rocks are cute little rocks, but they're the size of, a mountain. So I have to like downsize them and everything. I wanted to build like this little cute walk through area like near some graves. I originally wanted to put like a little pond there, but as you saw, it just wasn't working with the fountain so close by. I figured having both was a little redundant, and so we nixed the pond. um, but yeah, I guess I should give you guys like a little backstory about this build. I typed this up in like 5 minutes, but I think it's cool, and I hope you enjoy this like cute little story I came up with.
This is a story about a girl named
Adiris, Empress Adiris, by me. A temple to worship the ancient Empress Adiris, who worshipped the gods of justice and the sun, originally stood here. She ran a tight ship, but her followers adored her and thought she had the best of intentions. She cured their children of sickness. She put food on their tables after the fathers died in war. One day, a follower came to her, a young woman with 2 young children, and said, "Empress Adiris, thank you for giving me and my babies food, but the bread, it was rotten. Could I please have another?" In the corner of her eye, Adiris saw one of the woman's children eating the rotten piece of bread. Without saying a word, Adiris handed the woman another piece of bread. Later that night, as Adiris sat in her room, stewing and fuming over the woman attempting to deceive her, why would one of her followers do this to her after all she had done for them? She grabbed a book off the shelf and began flipping through the pages, faster and faster, until she found something that caught her eye: a spell. Adiris immediately began preparations. She spread the salt, lit the candles, and began her incantation. She then took a knife and sliced both of her palms and spread the blood into the salt. The candles went out and Adiris began floating in the middle of the room. A voice spoke to her. She believed this voice was God's, promising her eternal power and real devoted followers. And then Adiris fell to the floor. The next day, she carried on as if everything was fine. That same woman approached her again, lying about the piece of bread she received the day before being rotten. Again, Adiris gave her more. More and more followers came to her throughout the day asking for things, and she found it harder and harder to believe their pathetic stories. Later that night, after everyone was asleep, the voice spoke to her again. She grabbed a golden knife encrusted with red and green jewels out from under her pillow and proceeded to go from room to room, killing each and every last one of her followers, slicing their throats, stabbing them in the chest, in the back, in the face, wherever she had to. Men, women, old and young, everyone had to die. After she stood in the middle of the temple, surrounded by dead bodies, and screamed, "I did what you said, now hold up your end of the bargain." It was in that moment that a giant wooden chandelier came crashing down, killing her instantly. The temple filled with a black fog, and now the cult is nothing more than an urban legend. Or is it? Centuries and centuries passed. No one dared to live on this cursed land, as it was believed anyone who stepped foot there would die. Eventually, the grounds were turned into a graveyard by someone hoping to keep it as a historical site. But as the years passed, the owner found it harder and harder to keep up the maintenance, and found it even harder to explain away the weird things that went bump in the night. That is when a snake of a landlord swooped in and purchased the property. Due to laws and things like that, he couldn't dig up the graves, so he built an apartment complex underneath the cemetery. Of course, he had a lot of problems keeping tenants. Some left without a word, others were found dead and promptly buried away on the grounds. He never contacted the authorities, so he had to come up with a plan quick. His perfect solution? Only rent to the most despicable people. Within days, a vampire, a spellcaster, and a werewolf moved in, and he turned a blind eye to their wrongdoings. He let them drink blood, piss on the floor and cast spells to their heart's content. As long as they paid rent, he didn't care. And that brings us to today. The graves continue to pile up, but the tenants have stayed the same. Perhaps the tenants have found a way to appease Empress Adiris, or perhaps Empress Adiris found a way to appease the mysterious entity who killed her. Download this build from the gallery to uncover more secrets and finish the story your way. I hope you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up. That story took a lot out of me, okay? You don't know how many takes it took to get that all down. If you want to see more like this, subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Bye. like, and subscribe. Okay, bye.